The homie Spoken Thought said we should talk about the Nas and Jay-Z album rumors. I think this, I don't know, Jay Moore made a point about rumors coming out about Jay having a son, and there's this picture of this little boy that's been floating around for like 20-something years, so he ought to be grown by now. But that's not this one. I thought that's where they were going, and he mentioned that as well. I
thought they were just talking about random rumors that I've heard about Nas and Jay. But if you're talking about the album,
what are your thoughts, man? I would be excited.
The thing is, of all their collaborations, like I thought Black Republican was cool. I mean, I like the joint from American Gangster. I did like that. I can't front like I didn't. And then the one recently
on the masterpiece from Khaled.
I was cool on that.
That's actually not a bad song,
I like the record on the DM. Like that's like it sounds like it's a dated Jay-Z. It sounds like from a few years ago. And Nas snapped on that verse. That's why you got to give it up to Nas. But I would love for them to do an album where they were locked in and they really got the producers. Like they didn't, they sat down with Just Blaze and Premier and Dr. Dre, and they really said, "Yo, we're gonna go for it with this."
Yeah,
I don't see that happening, but that would be incredible. That'd probably be my dream project to see. I feel like those two guys really push each other.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Jay Diff, talk to me, man. What are your thoughts about the possibility of that collaborative album?
First of all, y'all keep downplaying the Khaled track just because it's on Khaled's album. Now, if this song had dropped on somebody else's album, didn't feature Khaled at all, I think it would have got a better reception.
No,
but it didn't,
because it's not a bad song.
You hear what Lone said? What'd you say, Lone?
But it didn't.
There we go.
Lone don't like Nas. He don't like Nas.
Well,
So.
you got me there.
Oh, now you're in it. Now you're there.
Yeah.
No,
but I'm sorry. That totally slipped my mind, Terry. I'm sorry. Saying. I apologize. He's open to college. Yeah.
But as far as a joint album from the two, that would be something I think every hip hop head would apply and appreciate, and the tour would sell out instantly, immediately.
The tickets hitting for.
Couldn't even tell you on that.
Okay,
but it's gonna cost you a lot. It ain't gonna cost you a little. It's gonna cost you a lot.
Cost you a lot. Yeah.
Especially if they tour with Beyonce, but that's a whole nother situation.
Come on now, you talking about a mortgage? You talking about with the mortgage payments now?
Something like that. But no, it would definitely be something that the heads and pretty much anybody else that listen to music, pop that is, look forward to and appreciate if it actually did transpire. But if they were doing something like that, I guarantee you will be under wraps, and we probably would not hear about it coming out until maybe a week or two before it actually released.
I could see that. I could see that. Long with you, because we know where you at. But I'm gonna ask you a different question.
Okay.
With the album, that's cool. How Jay Moore kind of hinted at it. How would you approach the production? Do you want straight old school producers, or would you want a blend? Would you want a couple random producers? Would you want some up and comers? Like how would you, how would you EP it from a production standpoint?
I would treat it similar to, I would want newer production sounds. I wouldn't want it to sound like it's made in the 90s. I would want it to, like certain artists take production, even from classic artists, and they get like their more modern version of what they're doing. Like I think Kendrick does a good job sometimes. Like he might have a boom bap-esque type track, or even Cole, but it'll have hints of what it sounds like now. And I think that's what I would expect and want. I don't want him to sound dated. Like if you want their old stuff, go buy their old album. You know what I mean? So like,
I see what you did there.
So like, but I think modern production, like I don't think it needs to be like crazy trapped out or anything like that. I don't want that. I just want it to sound modern, and there's a way for it to sound modern without it sounding like it's catering to what's popular, if that makes any sense. So
no, I'm with you there. I think people like Just Blaze is a person that I think that just always checks that box off. Like his will be an updated version of what they would be looking for to me. Like he'd be the person that I would trust 100% do that. You know what I'm saying? Like the joint that he has with on the Space Jam soundtrack with Lil Baby and Kirk Franklin is fire. I don't know if y'all heard
beat
that.
Is crazy.
Yeah, but that's crazy. And that's why I've always given like Just is like in my top 5, man. Like I always have to move stuff around, but I just don't see any flaws. I don't see any weakness in him. Like I don't think there's anything he can't do.
Right.
And I would definitely trust him. Now, as for I think Jay mentioned Primo. I think Primo could do it, but I think that would be leaning more towards what Lone is trying to avoid. You know what I'm saying? I think it'd be.
I think he could do
a couple tracks.
Huh?
He do a
I'm
couple
still waiting
tracks,
on that,
but not a
still
whole
waiting
thing.
that Nas Primo album that was so long rumored back when he was all reading Scratch magazine.
Oh, okay. I find
That's Detox essentially.
yeah. So Terry, you saying you think you could do it, but you just don't want like 8 tracks of Primo, right?
I don't think Primo should lace the whole album at all. I mean, especially coming from Nas's history being one of the first artists to use multiple producers on an album.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're marrying Jay-Z and Nas on an album. You have to kind of use that same formula.
Well,
Use
Terry,
producers that work on both sides, like producers that Jay-Z work with, and producers that Nas work with as well.
well,
Yeah.
since you're talking about that, let me ask
Rock
you, Terry, because we
would be
play
nice.
along.
And Kanye would
Yeah,
be
I'm with-
nice. Like good
It
Kanye.
would be nice. Yeah, not
Yeah.
you know, I don't need most I'm talking about, I need him to go back, but he definitely would be good. Terry was talking about, you know, when we was talking about the producers and stuff, he started naming some names and, you know, who would have more tracks or who wouldn't. But what is the direction of the album? Because you have 2 dudes that, you know, Jay is going to obviously, he has more commercially successful records, but, you know, Nas has those, but his storytelling bag and reflective bag has been his, you know, bread and butter for the most part. So is it an album where it's just well balanced and they just rapping, or are we crafting hit records, or you know what I mean? Like those are the things I think about, because there's ways they could do it. They could just rap and it'd be fine to
I
me.
feel like you're going to hear a lot of investment rap.
That's what I was about to say
a
too.
lot of a lot of
Black
IPO
billionaires.
references.
Basquiat rap.
So you're going to hear a lot of like, don't spend your money on chains and cars. Which,
No, they did.
I mean,
True.
you know what I mean, you know, these dads, and they're going to be talking about fatherhood and like, because I don't know if you guys saw the shop.
Oh, I
you
saw
know.
a preview. Yeah, I saw.
I wound up watching that. You know, Jay-Z talking about fatherhood. He's like, look, I didn't know how to swim until I had Blue, because like if she falls in the water, what am I going to do if I don't know how to swim?
That's real.
You know, and
That's why I
not
was
something
jumping in the water looking silly in that one photo.
Yeah, so he's
like a
he's
fool.
like, that was something I never had to think about until I had, you know. And then he talked about when he got inducted in, you know, he got the announcement for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He's on, you know, carpool duty. And he's like, you know, you try to tell your daughter that, and she's like, yeah, whatever, Dad. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this doesn't feel like a celebration, but that's just what fatherhood is. It's like you might be a superstar to the rest of the world, but you're just daddy to, you know, your kids. So,
I'm looking at the chat right now.
Good conversation.
Looking at the chat right now, and I see Nate Jeezy said No ID and Kanye probably the 2 producers that will mesh well. I forgot about No ID, and he did all of 444, so I'm with that. 𝗏𝗏𝗀 said, give me Primo all day. In my heart, I feel you, fam. Like, I get it, but I don't know if I want that. There's something else out there that I think that could be just as cold. That's just, I don't know. But I feel you, because purist in me would be like, yeah, let's just go. But I don't know if they're gonna rap that much like that.
I feel like there's so many like younger producers that are really dope too that I see. You know, like
𝗏𝗏𝗀 said Alchemist, Derringer. I
can
forgot
see
about them.
Alchemist would be cool. Derringer, I feel like is kind of the same as Alchemist. Is I don't want to like clown on Derringer, but like if you have Alchemist, you don't need Derringer. Let me just put it that way.
Agreed.
And
Oh, there you go.
You know,
But I mean,
He ain't
thinking
lying on
of
that part.
Griselda albums. When you think of Griselda albums, they've used both of them hand in hand.
true, but they're not. But they're making a Griselda album, you know, so it makes sense. Like
Right,
this is
right.
like, I don't know. Like it would be dope to see, you know, like somebody like 14KT produce some stuff for them. You know, like
I'm
or
with you there.
you know what I
All
mean,
black
like
guy. Yeah, yeah.
something like that would
Yeah.
be really cool. Maybe some of the selection dudes. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
One of them, but
Yeah.
Do that. Sango might lace them with some of
Sango.
them Brazilian
like,
Brazilian.
can you
German
imagine
type-
Nas and Jay over a 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐃 beat? Like,
Oh
Yeah,
my God, that would be crazy.
What would
Yeah,
that
that'd
sound
be
like?
crazy.
you know what I mean? Like, so
𝗏𝗲𝗱 said Apollo Brown. I feel you. I
I can
feel
dig
you.
Apollo.
Yeah. Yeah. I could use Ninth. I take Ninth. I take
Oh,
Crisis.
yeah.
Yeah, I take both them.
I take Crisis. Like give him
Give me a
give him
Knots
that
joint.
look.
Give me a Knots joint
I take
too.
Oh my
Mr.
God.
Porter.
Give me an Ill Mind
Mr.
joint.
Porter.
You know what I mean?
This is an album that doesn't have a budget. They can literally
They can do everything.
they can literally have a different producer for every song on the album if they
They
wanted
can
to.
have multiple ones on the same song and be straight.
And and all the samples gonna get cleared because they know they're gonna get that bread back, and the publishing gonna be however the publishing is chopped up. Nobody's worried about anything on this album because it's gonna go. So if you want, this will be the album as a producer that I would love to be a part of because you could go dig and find something without worrying about sample clearance and just go find that rare Brazilian jazz record that they gonna take like X amount of publishing from you. It's like, all right, be on this album, I'm cool.
Shoot,
You know
on
what I
this
mean?
album,
Like,
even more so, like forget the rare stuff. They could sample known stuff on this one. Like they could sample
True.
a Beatles record probably and get away with it. Well, maybe
and
not
get
Beatles,
away with it.
but-
Yeah,
but
and get away
You
with
gotta
it.
understand the tier that we're talking about when we mention the Nas and Jay-Z at this point.
Yeah.
These are both two elite MCs who have
Facts.
stood the test of time musically, and it doesn't even have to be hip hop. Think of all the artists that have came and gone since both of them have been out. Nas has been out longer, and they're still here, and they're still sought after. So, I mean, kudos to them for being able to keep that same energy, whether they drop. I'm not even gonna say a flop because each one of them have dropped albums I don't necessarily like as much
that's
as
part of
the
the
other.
game.
But I mean, they're still sought after albums, and their classics outweigh the regular ones.
If you've enjoyed this segment from the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live chat every Tuesday from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern at youtube.com/New Old Heads Network. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. We also invite you to join our private Discord community at newoldheads.com/community.